All right, so as you guys may have seen through some announcements and things throughout the software, is we just recently over the past weekend had an update to 9.3.0, and today's um, session we're just going to go over some of those new features and enhancements to existing features that we had. So you can kind of see those up on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and we'll go into each one by one. So the first new feature that wasn't there before is having a center-specific appointment link. We've had in the past where you can have each tutor have like their own specific link. Now the student does get asked, which center they want to go to and what services and everything else that they normally get asked when they're trying to schedule that appointment. But in the end, it's only going to show that one tutor's schedule. This kind of takes that same idea and basically just shows from the beginning just one center's services. So they're not having to see everyone else's if you wanted to have like a unique link to share just for your center. And I know this might help more of our institution clients that have, multiple centers in there. But this is now available, and you just get to it under centers and classrooms. And let me just show you that real quick in my account. Okay, so here's my test account. So from the main uh, menu up here under administration, we got centers and classrooms. And you can see in here I've got all my different centers. So if I wanted to provide a link just for the Student Success Center, let's say, you could click on that. And there's nothing that I have to do, any like special configuration options. I just literally have to copy this link. Now I could share that once I have it copied. I could share that, on a website through an email campaign. Some people might even put it on their like college news or center news over here. And you could have them, start off with scheduling just for your center. And if I were to paste it up here, now I am being asked to pick a student because I'm an admin. But other than that, once I pick the student, it is just showing that Student Success Center and the services that they offer. So it started off right away with that. So pretty cool. All right. Now this next one's actually really, really cool feature. And it works kind of in sync with the next feature that we're going to go and look at. But this is virtual wait times for walk-ins. So what this allows you to do is if your students are already signing in, maybe they're scheduling appointments and things like that. Um, if they're logged in online, they'll be able to um, check and see what the waiting line looks like before they even arrive. And basically, if you enable this, they'll also be able to sign in before they arrive. So if they're on their way, whatever the case may be, it's sort of like, a way for them to kind of jump in and maybe be seen a little quicker when they get there. So basically, we're just providing additional options for that center. And if this sounds like something you want to do, you can go under Administration, Control Panel Walk-ins, and enable it. Let's see that. So Administration, Control Panel, and we're going to go in the walk-in section, and we're going to pick a specific center. So let's use like the Skills and Tutoring Center here. View settings. And it's on the left-hand side, it's the brand new section all the way at the bottom. So you can see that I've already enabled this for my students here. But if I didn't, I would just check that and I'll go ahead and save the changes. Once that's enabled, I'm going to open a different browser. And here, just taking a second. I got to log out of the main admin from this other browser real quick. Okay, and we'll log back in with a student account. Okay, so you can see my student up here, and with that enabled under their center attendance, they're going to have this new online waiting line. So they can click on that. And these are all the centers. I have about 10 centers, and these are all the ones that have waiting lines with that enabled. And so I can go ahead and see, like if I wanted to see how many people are waiting and advising. So there's 0 wait. If I wanted to go ahead and get in on that, I could go ahead and sign in, and it kind of pulls up the options that I would normally see when I go to that center at the kiosk. Okay, and then it's just letting me know I'm in line, and it will ding and notify them when they're next or they've been signed in. So they'll kind of see if you're familiar with we have a feature when you're logged in as an admin where you can kind of cast the screen so that you could have like a reception area that has like a line of your students that are waiting, and they're kind of seeing a similar screen. So they'll see who's next in line, and if you sign them in, they'll go down to this recently signed in section. So we can do that. And as an admin or even a tutor, I would be under center attendance, manage center to view that waiting line. Just have to pick the right center. Okay, and you can see they're waiting and advising. And if I was an advisor, I'd go ahead and select them, sign them in. In advising, we assign the advisor here. So we'll go ahead and assign them and then sign the student in. And it refreshes about every minute or so, but you can click refresh and you can see they moved to the recently signed in. And this is once they're signed in, it does start tracking their time. So if they did put any kind of notes or calling notes, you might want to reach out to them beforehand, before signing them in. And if I needed to, I could always, if I didn't see they were available, I can put them back in line and discard, or keep the sign in. So there we go. So we've got like their phone number if we needed to call them. And they can remove themselves out of the line as well. So if they decide to leave that queue, then they can. And I can go back and see other waiting lines as well. Even tells me that I'm in that line right now. So pretty cool. Let me leave out of that. And this screen does refresh as well, but it's like once every minute or so. But okay, cool. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing there. Let me just minimize all this. Excuse me. The next new feature we have is called the Campus Compass, or Compass for short. You'll see that on the menu. And the idea of it is kind of similar to what we just added for the last thing that I went over. But this one gives them different categories that they can choose from. Now, these are all things that you're going to come up with, and it will provide the different centers around the institution that might provide that kind of help. So you can see in the example here, I need direction, I need financial aid, uh, maybe library resources, things like that. In each of these options, they'll see the name of the center and the options that are available. So if, for instance, that center takes appointments, they can make an appointment. If they offer the virtual, waiting line options, things like that, they can go ahead and get in the virtual waiting line. Now to access this, you're going to go under Administration Compass and set up kind of all these new, I like to call them compass points, if you will, but it's all the different categories that they can choose from here. So let's pull back up the admin account. And under Administration, we're going to go to Compass right before Advanced. So I haven't actually set this up, so it's a good opportunity. I'll go ahead and click on New Compass. And so let's say need help with finals. You can give a description. The order is if you want to change the order. By default, it's just going to put the next number that's available. I can also select a different icon from the various ones that we have available. So let's see. What do we like? I like this one. So I got that selected, and then now I can choose what services these apply to on the services tab. And by default, it shows all the college's services. So I could just search for a service, let's say tutoring. And you can see all the different centers that offer that kind of service. And they have tutoring online and face-to-face. Let me see what else would apply. Okay, so we've got some other ones too, like at this other center, in-person tutoring, virtual tutoring. So basically all of my tutoring options, let's see. And you can go through, there's only 29 services here, but I could go through anything else that I felt would apply. Let's see, maybe nursing simulation. Reading assistance. And I think that'll, oh, the virtual tutoring there. Okay, so I've got everything. Oh, student athlete tutoring, cool. So I went through everything and found what I wanted. So I'll just go ahead and save that change. Oh, and I do need a description, okay. Okay, save, okay. And um, mm, so you can see you can have these need-based, so and it went with 2. I could always change that around if I needed to. Let's see, maybe that one. That looks good. Okay, well, that should be good. I just wanted to have a few different options so that when we actually, I'm going to go through this as the student, so you can see how that's going to appear. So I think I have a pretty good amount of options. Oh, probably that one too. Okay, so let's save that. Okay, and all I have to do as a student now that this is set up and it's enabled, um, make sure it is though. Oh yeah, I think it is. Okay. So let me go back as the student. Sorry, what was that?
Oh no, it was just somebody coming into the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So on their main menu, they have this option now once those categories have been added. So we've got this little new compass, campus compass option. And you can see the 2 categories I built out. And if I click on the finals one, you can see all the available services that we offer, and I can view the location. So if I'm looking for virtual tutoring, you can see that's available in multiple locations, I can make an appointment. If they offered other options, I'll have other options as well. Um, and let's go back to the beginning. And let's say I need a quiet place to study. So view locations that have that. And if you guys have unified services, like where the names are similar, those should be grouped together as well. So you're not having multiple ones that sound pretty similar, like I have. Um, okay, cool. So let me minimize that for now. But yeah, that's the idea in a nutshell. And this is, whether they're online on their phone or, through their computer, this will be available to them. All right, so now we're kind of moving into some of the enhanced features. So you may have already noticed this because, it's been out for the last few days, but we did update the template. It's got a nicer, cleaner look to it. So you're going to see um, in all the previews, it should be uh, converted to this newer format. So there was some older templates that we had that were blocky and sometimes didn't look very well. So that's been enhanced. And if you want to check that out, you can go to Administration, Control Panel, Email Templates. And like I said in the preview at the bottom, you can kind of get a idea of what that looks like. And I'm just going to go to one of my existing templates. Now, if you already had templates set up, there's no need to change any of that. Um, so like, for instance, these are all templates that I had with, code for, if this session's virtual or not. I have different messaging and things like that. So it still works with all that. It also provides like a HTML looking uh, style to it. So it doesn't just look like some plain text email that they're getting. So it's pretty cool. And now another one is an enhancement to the import process. And I know we've had some errors coming in from this most recent update, but it's not something that's technically affecting you guys. On the imports, it's failing to clean up files, but you're getting notified. So if you guys are getting that message, just keep in mind we're working on that. But part of this was basically to optimize those imports so they don't take as long. And in some cases, like it says on the screen here, is we've actually shortened the process to where, something that was taking an hour is now down to less than a minute. So they've streamlined that process for the imports. There were multiple um, things that were going on during the import that we found it wasn't needed and it was just tying up resources. So hopefully the whole system as a whole with that should operate more efficiently. So I really can't show that, so I just wanted to talk about it. But that's pretty much the new features and enhancements, the major ones in this update. So if you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. Or
Yeah. Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself, raise your hand, put that in the chat, however you're comfortable if you have any questions about these. Nick, I really like these enhancements. The enhanced templates is a really good one because I think it speaks to how in demand those templates are, of how many folks are wanting to customize those messages for their center. So that's really cool. Are there any features on here that are not available to light license holders?
um, I think because the compass is really more for like an institution. I believe that's probably going to be maybe more for the institution. I'll have to double check though. Um, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying okay. Um, And I'm not seeing any questions yet in the chat. Does anybody have any questions? You can unmute yourself since we're a pretty small group if you'd like.
I have a question.
Sure.
Hi, Nick. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Is that
Awesome.
Priscilla?
Yeah. I'm a little under the weather, so sorry.
Oh, you're
Um,
good.
I have a question with the online waiting line, which I think is awesome, by the way. Could you tell me the difference between that and the virtual sign-in link, or if there is much of a difference, is there a pro or con using one versus the other?
Yeah, so it's gonna be essentially in a way it's gonna almost replace it in a way. We've always had that virtual link option. The thing that uh, I think I like about the virtual link is you have the ability to limit the hours that's available. Whereas for the waiting line, you'll probably have to turn it off and on if you do enable that, because you don't want them to just be able to sign in at all times. Because if you think about it, with the traditional sign-in kiosk, it's in a controlled environment. It's in your center somewhere, on a computer somewhere. So you'd probably have to almost disable that. Um, I feel like uh, when you're not in session. So I still think the virtual link with having that option where you set the hours that it's available, because it'll basically tell them that the center's closed if it's outside of those operating hours. So I don't know, I kind of like that a little better. But this is great, for them to kind of get a idea of what's going on when um, the center's operational.
Yeah, we get a lot of students sign in a lot with the link. They sign in multiple times. So I feel like the new waiting line that you made, I feel like it's very easy for them to see that they're in all
Hmm.
in one. So I like it. I'm wondering, just like when they're in the managed center, you could turn on and off the waiting line. I wonder if that will ever come into the virtual waiting line, like a toggle, to turn on and off easier.
Yeah, I mean, there's always room for improvement on all of these. Even as I was, going through those for this presentation, I'm like, you know, for instance, one thing to note, I guess, because we're talking about it, is when you enable that line, there's no way to like say, okay, I want them to see the line, but I don't want them to join it remotely. So that could be something maybe in the future where we kind of separate those things out. Like, oh, I want them to see it, but let's not give them that join. I want them to either come here to join or, use a virtual link or something like, you know what I mean? So there's definitely, you know, um, it's not the final product by any means. We could always improve stuff. So.
Yeah, looks great. Thanks.
Mhm.